Hoping that this works. Hi, YouTube. My name is Iris Paz, and I am a 30-year-old trans woman. Um, just kind of wanted to give a little bit of an intro about myself since I am new to trying out the YouTube community, and I'll be honest, a little nervous the first time around, but we'll work our way in through that. Um, So, the reason why I am deciding to go ahead and even bother posting anything is because I am, as I stated, a trans woman. Today is actually my 1 year mark into my hormones, um, but not the main driving point. What I do see a lot of in YouTube, specifically with my community, is a lot of tomfoolery going on, but we're going to have a lot of time to discuss that. Um, I'm going to try to keep this video short and quick, but I do want to at least let my first video kind of explain myself a little bit, because I know for a fact people have seen me floating around through the comments, particularly when it comes to a lot of the so-called trans people, or they are indeed trans, but they are setting horrible examples on how to go ahead and voice their opinions on what it is to be trans and what it is to be a woman. So I would like to clarify just a few points. Number one, what you see right now is what you get. I'm not a big fan of wearing wigs, just due to comfort. I have glasses. Wearing a wig, it gets to be a lot, and I know for some it is perfectly okay. You can definitely slay it. I've seen you out there, and so has the world. Just personally not for me, at least at this time. So I'm actually doing everything in my power to try growing out my hair. I am doing personal techniques to go ahead and work on trying to soften my voice over time. And I am proud to admit that, yes, it does need work. You'll notice that I am not wearing any makeup. Um, it's actually close to, pardon my fingers, it's almost basically 3 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. So just got off of work, hung out at a friend's house for a little bit, and he's actually the one that inspired me to start speaking out. So what I would like to briefly discuss is a way that we should start. By we, I mean us in the trans community, is to start talking about how we present ourselves. So the level of entitlement is through the roof. Oh my god. YouTube, y'all be crazy with what we're posting up here. Because I can tell you right now, a lot of people are giving us heat because for the ones that aren't being true to themselves and or just doing their part in blending in, being the queens that they clearly are. It's the ones that I see that are truthfully deserving of being mocked. But that doesn't mean that that reflects our entire community. No. That means that we have to judge that individual based on presentation and show of character. So what I would like to do is give an example of how we need to start presenting. I most of the time don't wear makeup a whole lot. Single parent, so when I go to my work, which is almost 30 miles away, and then coming back, paying bills, paying out of pocket for food, all that stuff adds up after a while. So I decided to take the high road and gonna take the slow route. Let nature just kind of show over time. It's not going to be perfect. I am perfectly aware that I am clearly biologically male, and I have no quarrel in saying that. Do you hear me, YouTube and fellow trans sisters out there? Look me in the eyes. You are biologically male. That doesn't mean that we are not trans women. Because if that's really who you are, that is who you are. But there are certain guidelines that you need to follow. Like your mannerisms, the way that you present. I'm just, I'm just chilling, laying in my bed, I'm gonna crash soon, kind of keeping this short as much as I possibly can, hoping that this actually uploads and see what happens. But I am, like I said, I'm 30 years old. I knew I was trans when I was 9 years old, and it started initially with cross-dressing and just this fascination with it. It's not like I was at the time aware of, like puberty and what it meant to be excited. It was more of the connection of this feels right, but also being aware of that, one day, these weren't going to be a possibility. So I did everything in my power to try to push it out of the way. But over the years, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was very tough. In the aspect of who I was at birth, to me felt more like a kind of like an act, like a character that an actor or actress would play, and I got really good at playing the role. But when it came to committing to it, it was just really hard after a while. And then when it starts to actually feel like you're having to just pretend just to be who you thought you were, it's not so much fun. Which, when I was 25, I had decided I was going to start taking the steps to get on HRT. Fate intervened. I like to think that God did intervene because I always wanted to be a parent. I was motivated by Mrs. Doubtfire. No correlation, I can reassure you and promise. I was captivated by the lengths that Robin Williams would have gone, both in real life and for the character role, to be a good parent and to always be there for their children. And that's what motivated me at a very early age to want to be a good person. Which brings us to current. I was always aware that if I wasn't to undergo HRT, there's a good possibility I'm not going to have kids. So, like I said, God intervened and pushed someone in my path who I had shared a relationship with for about, I want to say, the relationship itself, we earned a year of trust together, moved in with her family. I'm going to keep a lot of details from that point private out of respect for them. I will try to generalize as much as possible from that time frame in my life, but I will state that basically it wasn't pretty. But we've moved past it, and we did it because, as it turns out, right before we were about to break up, we found out we were to have a child. So it was December 31st, 2019, that my son was born. And for almost a year, everything was going great. And all of a sudden, reality came crashing down. It was, we'll just say, strongly suggested that I just undergo the HRT. That's what you really want. So I had said, see ya. Okay, I'm going for it. No regrets. Took a few months to get started, but March 31st, 2022 was my starting day. So today officially marks my year mark. Which that's just to kind of speed up the backstory. Like I said, this first video is just an intro, just kind of giving you a base synopsis. I'll try to dissect into my life a little bit, as we progress, because I want to give you, the viewers, something to pay attention to. So if this first video kind of feels like I'm monologuing along, I sincerely apologize. I promise I will get better at this. I'm just a little tired, but I really wanted to speak to you guys. So, with as sped up as I could backstory of me, that brings us to my intro point on the subject of the transgender women in specifics and women. So we have to start accepting, ladies, and I'm using this both broadly and loosely. We have to understand that there are certain guidelines, rules, and just overall known lines that we have been both kind of overstepping. And I really do think it is on both sides. But we can overcome that. It won't be overnight. I have faith, though, because we're still here on this planet where we haven't officially been bombed off the face of the earth. So that tells me we still have a shot at redemption. And, that's, if we can start, in one spot to try to make the world a better place, I would want to talk about the genders above all else. Because for my trans sisters, we are not entitled to use the women's locker room. I honestly believe that it is a privilege. And with that being said, you can't abuse it. So, my personal feelings, I don't use locker rooms, so, but I'm just saying, in this scenario, when I do go to a locker room, I can only tell you about how my approach would be. I would just, depending on how I present and how far along I am in my appearance, I would probably feel more comfortable asking the first person, at the reception gate, and be like, hey, which locker room do you feel would cause the least stir for me to go ahead and use based on what you see? And I would value their honest opinion, provided, it wasn't hate felt. And me personally, I am not attracted to women anymore romantically. Um, I've come to accepting that with being self aware and not in denial that I am a biological male as I am a transgender woman. Again, I'm not ignorant to forget my roots on what, you know, with my past and with our past. We have our flaws, but while we are still young, this is a whole new experience for all of us. We have to be respectful. The women's areas, this has been sacred for them. You know, that's their safe spot. That's where they can be free. For us to just waltz in all of a sudden, that's a big shift because not all trans women are, you know, the super soft and effeminate. Some of y'all just be looking straight on scary, like, bro, like you look like you're working out, like you got the mustache and the beards, and you know, some of you, it it looks nice like with the fine hair, but still, to me personally, um look at it from another perspective, point of view. Like, how is it that they are going to see you not knowing who you are? Like, you can feel confident in yourself. That's great, but if you look like a clown, um, I recently updated my picture for YouTube because it was my first attempt before hormones to just be confident with myself. I got outed at work and I had decided to uh, do makeup, you know, with the crash course that I was taught, and I was trying to do it on my own. And I asked people to just be honest with me, you know, with the flaws. Y'all women, I noticed that you play dirty when it comes to that honesty. um, my coworkers had a good laugh because in the beginning I used a lot of concealer and foundation, and I was a little too liberal with it. And I can joke about it, honey. I looked like a powdered pumpkin. There's no way around it. I've learned from those mistakes. But again, don't wear makeup all that often. I like to embrace the natural changes and just see it over time. Because again, I'm only just a year in. Not all of us are bombshells right off the bat. It takes work. You gotta work at it. Am I the ugliest trans woman? No. Am I the hottest? No. Um, am I confident and comfortable with myself? Yes. I just feel that if we try to force our agendas on others, you're only giving them reason to fight you more. When you can just go in soft, you know, ease your way into it. You know, that if that water's cold, you don't have to go jumping in and just completely submerging yourself, freezing to the core. Take your time. Give everyone time to adjust around you as well. Um, just, I feel that that would cause a lot less conflict as a start. Um, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the video for right now. I thank you very much. If you managed to make it to the very end, my name again is Iris Pause. YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like if you are at least in agreement with some of the things that I'm saying. And I promise I have a lot more to discuss. And I think I'm gonna keep doing this because this is also a great way for me to go ahead and keep up with y'all's shenanigans and see the changes that happen for me over time. Rome wasn't built in a day, so I think we should just take the journey slow. As a wise man once said, you know. I'm gonna stop myself right there. YouTube, you have a good night.